welcome to Theater Talk. This time after the performance of Fun Home at Proctor's Theater in downtown Schenectady. I'm Jack Arnicke, joined by some of the cast members from the performance, and many of the people from the audience are here. We're open for questions from them. They will ask questions. I will repeat them because obviously they're not mic'd and I am. And then the actors will answer the questions. So I'm going to start off by asking these folks their names, what part they play, where they're from, and anything else pithy that they may wish to add. So why don't you just go right ahead and start?
Hi, I'm Luca, and I play Christian, and I'm from California.
Hi, I'm Carly. I play small Alison, and I'm from New York.
Hi, I'm Robbie. I play Mark, Pete, Roy, Bobby, Jeremy, and that's it. And I'm from New York.
Hi, I'm Abby Corrigan, and I play medium Alison, and I am from North Carolina.
All right, good. Welcome to fashionable downtown Schenectady. And we are open to questions. Any questions? I meant to mention, because I think the question is from them, we have a group here also from Johnstown School District, which is about 25, 30 miles west of here. So they came down specially to see you. All right, there was a question right in the back there, hand raised. She was waving to her friend over there. Do you have a question for your friend? So, all right, questions. Any questions at all? Yes. Are any of you gay?
I am gay.
All right, we got that out of the way.
I am bisexual, I would consider myself, I guess. But I'm a little bit more gay in doing this, I think.
All right, next question. Yes. How was it introducing the entire premise of the show to the younger actors?
I mean, my mom helped me a lot understand the subject matter. But in the show, as an actor, what I can do is take other topics and put them into what I'm seeing. Like, for example, Ring of Keys. I don't necessarily have to think about the butch. I can think about other happy stuff. So that's what I do.
I mean, I read the script a few times, just to really understand it more, just get myself more used to everything. And, I do the same thing as Carly. I just kind of mix things up a little bit, just depending on what I'm thinking on. But it's nice because my character I can actually really relate to. I really can relate to Christian, so that's probably one of the very big advantages of playing Christian.
Another good thing that our director, Sam Gold, did during rehearsals, he was very available, so we could talk to him, ask him questions, and we also had Portia, who was our assistant director, who worked with the kids as well, during rehearsal process, and any questions that the kids had, they could go to her, and that really made it a lot easier to communicate on stage with them.
All right, good. Questions? Yes. How old are you two?
I'm 12.
And I'm 11.
All right, great. And what do you want to do with the rest of your life?
I think we both want to act. I don't speak for you, but I think we both want to act for the rest of our life.
Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, questions? Yes.
How is it traveling for you guys, especially as young actors and actresses? How exactly does that feel? How well do you guys get along?
All right. What about traveling? How does it feel for actors and actresses, especially the young, and how well do you guys get along? The rest of the cast isn't here because they don't like these.
Yes.
No, I'm only kidding.
Essentially.
We're too cool.
Yeah. This is my first experience doing a show this long ever, and so it's very interesting. It's kind of because we're a smaller cast, I think it's easier for us to all know each other very, very, very well. And, you always, you find your people that you get along with the best on tour and you hang out with them. But, I think this is such a special show, and it was just cast so well in the way that we are all very similar to, the people that we're playing. And then that's just how, we're, such a big family, and we all love each other a lot. But, now it's, the end of tour. This is probably, our 380 fifth show.
Wow.
And so we're like, we're coming to a close in like 3 weeks, and so it's, it's gonna be sad now. We kind of hated each other, but now we're sad.
Is it sad or is it hallelujah? It's over with.
I think it's both. We're
Yeah.
all. I mean, this show is like. I feel like this show is not something you can do for a super super long time. Because it's it holds in you for a certain amount of time, and I feel like there's a point in which you've done it, and it's it's as much as you can give, and but now it's like it's very sad. It's going to be like someone died when we're done.
And that's usually the way it is at the end of a show or a television series or
Yeah.
anything like that.
But
You
there's
said,
nothing like Fun Home, It's
yeah.
like-
You said 380 performances. How many different cities?
oh gosh, like over, I don't even know, 30. Does that make
And
sense?
a lot. And is it usually a week-long performance like here? Or?
No, we've had like 6 weeks like 6 weeks. That was in LA, and then we did like a month in San Francisco. But it's usually around like 2 to 3 weeks. But we now have 1 weekers for the rest.
And another question that I'm sure will be asked and fits right into what we were talking about. What about school for you guys? Obviously, how does that work with a road show?
Before the shows, every day we have a tutor, and her name is Carolyn. And for about every day, we go to school for 4 hours, and we have our dinner break, and then we come to the show.
And what about afternoons when there's a matinee like today and an evening
We
performance?
don't normally have school at the matinees. Sometimes we do school during the shows a little bit. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. All right. Questions? Yes. What's it like playing the same part with different ages? Is there a level of coordination that all of you have to have in that?
We get this question a lot, which I think is, this is like it's a great question. I think it's Sam really wanted, our director, Sam Gold, he really wanted us to just kind of like make Alison our own, because he always says like this is our adaptation of his adaptation of the assistant director's adaptation of the musical people's adaptation of Alison's adaptation of her own story. And so it's like, in order for it to be truthful, you kind of have to make it yours in a way, but also paying homage to the person, because Alison is a real human. But we never really coordinated. I don't think there's a couple moments where we like maybe do the same things at the same time, but I feel like it works because you're so different at different points in your life, especially when you go through something like Alison did. Like, you just change as a person, and so it makes sense. Whatever I'm doing, whatever Carly's doing, whatever Kate's doing, it's like, it works because it's clear the different moments in her life.
Interesting. I would have thought there would have had to have been some level of coordination so that there is a similar personality throughout.
I think we pick stuff up, like we're watching each other, but that's just like a subconscious thing, but it's also good casting, I guess.
And good observation on your part. All right, question. Yes.
Have you had the opportunity to meet Alison?
Have you had the opportunity to meet Alison?
Yeah, she came in, I think one time in rehearsals or a couple times, but then we opened the show in Cleveland, and she was there for almost maybe a weekend or almost a full week, and it was really an amazing experience because she has such power when she walks in the room after living through what she's lived through. It was amazing how put together and how confident and how beautiful she is after us knowing her personal story. And she didn't work with us, she just observed, and that's a hard thing, I think, for a lot of people, to let go of their story and have somebody else interpret it. And it was really admirable of her to let us do that, and she was so friendly, just super friendly. And she's coming again in Providence next week, so we'll see her one last time.
Yeah, I haven't met her yet because me and 3 other kids, we came in near more of like the middle May, part of the tour. So we had to it was nice though, but it was a little hectic when we first started because we had like 2-3 weeks of rehearsals, and then we had to just jump right in.
She actually said, when she gave this, like when Lisa and Janine called her and were like, we want to make this a musical. She was like, oh, nobody watches musicals. Okay. And she didn't think it was going to be like a big thing, but, you know.
It works, yes.
Having read the book, there's a lot in the book about the death of her father and the question of whether or not it was an accident or suicide and what that meant to her one way or the other. And that's really not in the play. It's mentioned at the beginning and then he dies at the end. At least you know that's what happened if you read the book. But I don't know.
Well, let me repeat the question. The questioner had read the book, and there was a significant part about the father and whether he had died naturally or had committed suicide, which is dealt with significantly in the book, but then just mentioned in the beginning, and you sort of understand it at the end in the play.
That's actually because Alison wanted her mother to get the benefits from his death. And so it's very unclear in the book because at the time it was like being published, it still wasn't settled. And so in the play it's quite obvious because it's not a worry anymore, but it was just so her mother would be well off, which is not very well known, but like, yes, which I thought was, thanks Alison, good. Thank you, Alison.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Questions? Yes, in the back.
What got you into theater?
What got you into theater? And I think we can probably go right down the line. Either way you guys choose. Why don't you start?
Well, for me, theater is more new to me, but you know, I've always wanted to act. Ever since I was like 3, I just always begged my mom.
So
you know,
long ago.
I really want to act, and you know, my mom worked in the business, so she was like, no. But after around 4, she finally let me do my first audition, and I booked it, and I've just been acting ever since, and you know, ever since, this is my second show. My first show, we did it in the Kennedy Center, but we didn't really travel, but ever since then, I've just really loved doing Broadway, and I really do want to continue it.
Yeah, so I have an older brother, and I adore him. I copy him in everything I do, and he's an actor, actually. And I said, Mom, can you please sign me up for this play? She was like, okay. And I did it, and I was really bad. But I just got the bug, and I kept on wanting to do it, and now I'm here, so yeah.
Good. All right, that's the ancient history. Now we...
Right? Thank you.
I started 2 months ago. And
I got interested because I come from a musical family. My dad is a trombone player, and he played professionally in Mexico City. That's where I'm from, and he still does. And my brother and my sister both got into musical theater and opera, so I was around music my whole life. And the first job I did was I was in Mexico, and I did the Radio City Christmas show that came down. So I did that, and since then I was like, I can get paid to just pretend to be people? Yes, I'll do that. So then, since then, honestly, I think I was 11 when I did that. And then since then I've been doing theater as much as I can, and it's been good.
Both my parents are in the business. My mom's a casting director, and my dad is an actor, but he's by night, but sign language interpreter by day. I just grew up around it. You know, my mom and my dad put me in sports, and I was all right, but like it just like wasn't, because I was like, Mom, can I go in my lion costume? No, you can't. You can't go to T-ball in your lion costume. So, I just I never really said, like, when I was little, I was never like, yes, acting. It was just like, this is hardcore pretend. Like, this is what I'm doing, you know? So, like, it is hardcore pretend, you know? Because it's like everything comes true on the stage. You're like, oh, yes, look at this big house that I'm pretending I live in. It's fantastic. So, yeah.
Is the break front in the living room or in the set? Is it a real break front?
Yes.
It was created for this. It was created for this show. So if you get really close, it's like made out of wood, like plywood, I think. But it's so beautifully dressed that it really looks real.
It's heavy like a real break front?
It's not as heavy because those books that are in there, one of our prop designers here decided to take the pages out of those books so that it wouldn't be as heavy to move. Yeah. Because I don't know if you noticed when that whole, the house comes, obviously we call it dead, back into before Bruce has his number at the end, two people, stagehands from each side, come in and dressed in black so you don't see them, and they move that out. But it's not as heavy as it looks. But it's beautiful from the audience. It looks very real. And
A prop guy, I would think of taking all the pages
right?
out
He's
to
like,
save weight.
I'm not pushing that.
Thing. Questions? Yes.
Were there any heavy conversations on the set as the subject matter was unfolding about, specifically about suicide and/or sexuality as topics?
Were there any heavy conversations on the set as the story unfolded about suicide or sexuality?
You mean like in rehearsal?
Yeah, just between the actors.
Yes, like among the actors and so on.
Oh, well, we did a lot of table work with Sam, and if you guys don't know, like table work is like when you sit down with the director and you just like talk through the scene and you talk through what's going on. And I feel like we definitely did a lot of that. I feel like as actors, you want to do a lot of that, these are very open people that we're all working with, and so like we definitely will and did talk about a lot of that. But I think the show is very much set in the way that it's written. It's like everybody's just going through what they're going through right then. There's not as much, people always ask, like we get questions like, when Bruce, says that at the piano to you, like, why do you think that was a metaphor for blah, blah, blah? And it's like, no, because it really happened. Bruce wasn't thinking of a metaphor because he knew someone was going to write about him. He says, I don't know. He just says what he's feeling right then, and I feel like that's a lot of what Fun Home is. So if you think about it too hard, it kind of diminishes, I guess, or dilutes the focus of what the characters, like, because the characters aren't seeing metaphors and thinking about sexuality. They're just, they're living in the present, and they're just saying exactly how they feel, which is why it's just brilliantly written. But as actors and friends, of course,
I would have loved you for an English lit teacher who didn't go too deep into stuff. Wow. All right, questions? Yes. What's next after 3 weeks?
Robbie?
Well, we finished in December 3rd, so it's auditioning again and classes. And, oh, yeah, you guys have to go to school, huh? After. Yeah, we don't. It's a lot of auditions. I mean, I have a small show lined up in Philadelphia, but that's it. And that's it, yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Which kind of sounds like you don't have anything lined up.
No. Just moving to New York and just
Classes,
taking class, dance,
cooking
classes, art classes,
Yeah, it's audition season.
And an audition every once in a while?
Audition every once in a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know what's next.
No.
Yeah.
In any facet of life. Yes.
I'm curious, when a tour production closes and you go on to another production, each of you, how long do you retain the lines from could you a year later go back and do this?
How long do you retain the lines after a show closes and you go on to another production? Could you repeat the lines a year later?
Probably, but we actually had a 3-week break, and it was pretty scary for all of us because there was a point in because 3 weeks is actually the point in which your brain stops retaining and starts deleting. And so we were all like, at one point, we were all just kind of like messing up our lines just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know your
that's good.
experience with.
I mean, I think it depends also. I mean, when you have a show that you love as much as I love this show very much. I do tend to keep those lines for a little longer. When it's I don't know, some of the shows that I've done, I did How to Succeed, and those lines,
On Broadway.
as soon as that show closed, they went away like a couple weeks after.
Well, that's interesting
I
because
mean, I love that show, but not as much as I love Fun Home. It's very personal to me.
when I was a kid in my teens, I was a guide at a tourist attraction nearby here, Howe Caverns. I can still give you a complete tour.
Oh, look at that.
We're going down 156 feet. That's the equivalent of a 15-and-a-half story. Anyway, we have time for one more question, so let me go right there.
For the children, what is it like you already explained how you are in school, but socially, how is it like going from performance and then
Okay, for the young people, you've already explained about being in school, but what about the social aspect of school that you obviously are not quite getting while you're on the road? How do you deal with that, or how does that work?
I mean, personally, I think it's really hard because I'm not with my best friends every day. I don't see my teachers every day, so I'm going to actually go back to school after tour. I just, it's hard because my curriculum is done with 20 people. Like, now I just have me and my teacher, so.
I mean, in a way, I miss my friends a lot, but then I don't. Because I have all my friends here, and we, like Abby said, we really are a big family here. So I mean, we just have a lot of good friends here.
That's nice.
It's hard.
That's a great answer. If this acting thing doesn't work, you always got politics. That's. All right, how about a nice round of applause for these folks? Thank you all very, very much for coming out, for sharing your time. Thank all of you very much for joining us on Theater Talk. I'm Jack Arneke, and we wish you a very, very good day. Take care.